Hey, this is Eric, and this is a recording of a training I did called Hipster Google tools you probably never heard of. Please note this was recorded live at a conference with a room full of attendees, so it's a little more casual than many of my other videos with questions and conversations included, but I hope you still find the content valuable. Welcome, everybody, to our session on Hipster Google, tools you probably never heard of. A little bit of housekeeping before we dive on into this. So first thing first, I want to make sure everybody can get to the resources for the session. So if you haven't opened them up yet, head over to bit.ly/Kurtz-hipster. That's the link you'll see up here. I've got a larger version if it's helpful to see that. That'll get you to a Google document that has everything that we're going to be exploring throughout the session. The document looks like this. So if you're winding up there, you're in the right place. That's where you want to be. So what is this session about? What is this Hipster Google thing that we're doing today? So the idea is this session focuses on lesser known Google tools. That's kind of why I call it Hipster Google. So like way back years ago when the term hipster was kind of becoming better known, one of the ways that it may have been used was to refer to somebody who kind of felt kind of cool because they knew something that maybe you didn't know. Like if you were to say, hey, what's your favorite band, your favorite music group, the response might be, well, you've probably never heard of them, and then they would go on to explain. Now, I'm not saying anything negative about hipsters. I kind of think I'm a bit of hipster myself, because if you asked me, I'd probably say, well, you've probably never heard of them as well. Well, the idea was years ago when that was sort of becoming a little bit better known, I said, well, what if we applied that idea to Google? What if we talked about Google tools that maybe you've never known about? So, lesser known, under the radar kind of Google tools. And that's where this session came from. That's really what it is. So basically, we all know about Gmail, we all know about Docs and things like that. But Google makes a lot of tools, a lot of products. And there's a good chance there's a bunch you've never heard of, and that's understandable. So basically, that's what I've done. Over the years, I've collected together my list of hipster Google tools, my lesser known Google tools. And I pulled them together into some categories. And if you go to that document that we've been mentioning, you will find all of them here. So it's a pretty big document. I know about 7 pages worth. And I don't know, at this point, we've got 70, maybe 80 tools. I don't know. There's so many. It just keeps growing all the time. Now, as you can tell right away, there's no way we're getting through all of these in our time together. We're not going to cover, 80 lesser known tools. So what I'm going to do is I have pre-selected maybe 20 of them that I'm going to run through and show just kind of like some of my favorites or some that are a little newer. I don't know. I tried to pick. It's never easy, but I tried. I tried to pick like about 20 of them. And so I'm going to go through a selection from this list. And then I hope we have time left then, because I would love to know what other ones you would like to see, because obviously I'm just picking some that I'm excited about sharing today. And so what we'll do is we'll run through the 20 or so that I've selected. And then with whatever time we have left, let me know. Look down through the list and what did I skip that you're excited about? Pick some, and you can drop them in the Q&A doc, or you can just share them and say, hey, can we take a look at whatever? And we will. Who knows? Maybe we're going to run out of time and not even have that. So I better get going so that we can get through all of this today. So that is the plan for our time. Of course, anything we don't cover, please check them out yourself. There's loads and loads and loads of links here, and you're absolutely encouraged to explore all of those. All right. With all of that said, any questions, comments, and needs before we get going? Everybody good? Yeah. All right. Well, let's have at it. So we're going to go ahead and start heading through my selected tools. I pulled these out from all the different categories. These are not in any particular order, just here they are. So let's dive in and get going. So the first thing I'm going to mention is what I'm calling instant search cards. So what I mean is when you run a Google search, normally you get websites back as results, but not always. Something that Google does is it allows you to get interactive instant search cards for certain searches. So for example, if I go out to Google and I type in the word timer, yeah, I'm going to get websites about timers. So here's all these websites about timers, but I also get an actual timer, a usable interactive timer. I can come in here and say, okay, we're going to do an activity that's going to be, 10 minutes. Everybody get in your groups and blah, 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 do this activity. And I can pop that up on the screen, and it's so easy to use. So I do that a lot when we're doing certain sessions where I want people to do some work. Now, there's a lot of these kind of instant search cards. One of my favorites, I don't know if you've played around with this one, is called, it's called Emoji Kitchen. So try it out. If you have a device with you today, head to Google, type in the phrase Emoji Kitchen, and you're going to get this interactive search tool here. And you can click on Get Cookin'. And when you do, what it does, give it a moment here to load this up here. There we go. What it does is it picks 2 random emojis and then it merges them together. Now you can just click randomize and you'll get a new set of 2 every time you do this. And basically it's taking 2 emojis and it's making a new emoji from those 2 emojis. Now, if you don't want to just do it randomly, you can be like, well, I want to do my own. Absolutely. You can just click clear all. And then go down and make your own. Say, okay, I want to take, a turtle and I want to, merge that with, a cactus. Okay, I've got a spiky turtle. Or I want to merge a turtle with an ice cube. Oh, I've got a frozen turtle. Excellent. The point is you can pick your own, and you can mix them, or you can even just randomize one of them, a turtle, and just keep hitting the random button, and see. We've got a parachuting turtle. that's fantastic. But the point is, when you're done doing that, there's a little copy button over here underneath the new emoji that got created. You can just click on the copy button, and then you could paste that anywhere. Like I could jump over to our Q&A doc, and I can paste in our parachuting turtle. That's fantastic. Now, the idea behind this is I think this would be a lot of fun for a student writing assignment. Say, hey, we want you to go to Emoji Kitchen, mix up 2 emojis, copy and paste the result, and then that's what you're going to write your poem about or your story about or something like that. So it could be a neat tool for that. Now, there are so many other of these instant search cards. I'd love to hear from you guys. Besides timers, besides Emoji Kitchen, are there other things you've typed into a Google search that give you an instant search card that you found beneficial? Any other ones besides timers and Emoji Kitchen? And if not, that's okay. There are so many. Like, for example, you can type in calculator and you can get an interactive calculator, which is really nice. You can type in something like roll a die, and it will give you interactive dice, not just a die, but as many dice as you want. You can do, a bunch of 6-sided dice if you're doing like a gaming class or you're doing probability, or you could do all of the dice, all the polyhedral dice, and that'd be great for a role-playing game, for example, but whatever you want to do with them. So that's a great one.
There's one out there that gives you random numbers.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, right. There is a random number generator. So you can do it this way, where you just say, I want a number between 1 and whatever, or between 100 and 200 or whatever you want, and then just hit generate, and it basically is generating a random number. There's also the spinner that will do the same thing. If you type in spinner, you get a spinner wheel here, and you can come in and say, what size should the wheel be? Is it, from 2 to 20 numbers, so you can decide the size on it. And then when you spin it, boom, it'll pop up and give you that number. Any other ones you guys are aware of? Any other? Yeah, the conversions. Yeah. So like, if you say how many ounces in a pound or whatever, you can do conversions with this. Another one that I thought was kind of interesting, if you type in how to pronounce, and then put any word that you want, how to pronounce, and then a thing, there's a pronunciation instant search card that comes up. So in this case, I can now click the little speaker. Let's see.
Gnocchi.
Okay, so
Gnocchi.
So now I know how to pronounce it, and it even shows me the person's mouth moving, so I can see how that would look. And you can slow it down if you need it to be a little slower.
gnocchi,
And then you can practice it yourself. I can hit the little practice button here. Let's try it out. Gnocchi. Now I'm going to try to evaluate me. How did I do? It's thinking. Oh, no, I did more. It heard me say yoki more than gnocchi. So I probably didn't do it well enough. Let's try it again. Gnocchi. Let's see if I did better this time. At least I didn't say Ganaki or something like that. Okay, there we go. Sounds like you said gnocchi. Excellent. Good job. So we can pronounce. So there's a bunch of these. If you're looking in the agenda document on page 2, under the section of instant search cards, I do have 2 blog posts I did in the past where I listed a bunch of my favorites. I need to do a new post though, because there's so many new ones that have come out since then. But you can explore these. There are just so many of these instant search cards, from, like we said, flipping a coin, rolling a die, defining a word, timers, calculators, there's the unit conversions, area, volume, graphing equations, animal sounds. There's even the translation one is great. You can practice your fluency in a foreign language by hitting the little microphone, speaking, and seeing how well you can speak, and it'll translate for you. There's a metronome if you need a metronome. So all of these are just searches. You just type in the search, and Google, instead of giving you a website, will give you the instant search card. So I would encourage you to explore those. Try those out and see which ones you like. And if you got other ones to add, I would love to hear your suggestions. Any questions on that before we move on? All right, good stuff. All right, again, we got a lot to look at, so I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on each one, so we can try to get through each. But you stop me if you've got a question. If there's something you're curious about, please let me know. I'm happy to pause and take questions at any point. All right, so what's up next? Google Lens. Now, I mentioned this briefly in my session on using Google tools to support learners earlier today, but we're going to look at some slightly different uses of it now. But Google Lens is a tool from Google that is built into all sorts of things. It's built into your phone. It's built into Google Photos. It's built into the Chrome browser. It shows up a lot of places, but basically Google Lens allows you to analyze images. So if I'm using my phone, I can just point my phone at something and be like, what kind of a dog is that? And take a picture of the dog, and it will basically do a reverse image search to figure out, what that dog is. I can point it at text, and it can translate text. It can read text. What I want to show, though, because I mentioned that earlier today in the earlier session, what I want to show here is how Google Lens is actually built right into your Chrome browser. So here's what I mean. Let's say I come across an image, and I'm just using this example from a blog post I had done. Let's say I come across an image online, and I'm like, is that real? Did that really happen? So what is this? This is a picture of a shark that is swimming on the highway next to a car. Now, the story is there was such a bad flood from a hurricane that all the roads got flooded and sharks started swimming in onto the highway. And this gets shared on social media every few years. Anytime there's like a bad flood or a hurricane, somebody posts this. Well, if you came across this and you wanted to be like, is that real? Did that really happen? You can use Google Lens to do basically a reverse image search on it. The way it works in your browser is you just right click on the picture. If you're using Chrome, if you right click on a picture, you can choose search image with Google. And when you do that, that opens up Google Lens inside of your browser. So it doesn't have to just be on your phone. You can use it right in your browser. Now, Google Lens is going to, of course, be this little side panel over here. It's just looking at the shark at the moment. But if I drag this to show the whole entire picture, hopefully it's going to, yep, there it is. It's figuring out, it's identifying that image. And it's coming up with a search here about this shark in Houston, Texas. So if I pull that up, we should start to get some, well, I don't know if that one was the one I was looking for. This one might be better. Here we go. Yeah, let's try this one. Texas floods, the freeway shark. There it is. The freeway shark and other fake news. Okay, that might be a little bit closer to what we were looking for. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. That shark photo is fake, and so forth. The freeway shark and other fake news. So basically, what this has allowed me to do is to be able to right click on the image, open up Google Lens, and do a reverse search and find all the places that image shows up online. And suddenly, now I've got the details I need. So that's a nice use of it. Another cool thing I can do with it, and I did show this off a little bit during the earlier session, but I'll show it again real quick here, is it also works great if you're trying to grab text out of an image online. So this is a picture of text. If I right click and say search image with Google, it'll grab this picture and it will analyze the image and it can find the text inside of the picture. And so now I could select the text and I could hit listen and it should read it aloud.
Down, down, down. There was nothing else to do, so Alice soon began talking again.
And you can even translate it, a lot of options here. So Google Lens, what a neat tool. So it's built right into your browser, but it's also available inside of Google Photos. There's a Google Lens app as well. Great tool for reverse image information. Questions, comments on Lens? Has anybody ever used that? Have you used Lens? Yeah.
Yeah, we trying to figure out what kind of tree we had in the backyard. And
Trying to figure out what kind of tree you had.
picture
Yeah.
of the leaf,
Yeah.
and then the bark.
The leaf and the bark. Yeah. I used it. I have only been out of the country once. I wish I could do more international travel. I just haven't had the opportunity in my life, but I was out of the country once and I used it a lot when I was looking at signs and trying to understand something in a different language, and so I would point it at a sign and Google Lens would translate it for me. But I do use it when I go hiking and stuff like that. Yeah, we find a cool, what's this mushroom? Can you eat that? Probably not, but let's ask it what it says. I still wouldn't eat it. I don't think I would trust anything that much, but flowers and things like that when you're hiking. Anybody else use Lens before? If not, that's okay. I'm just curious. All right. All right. Well, let's keep on moving. We got lots of other amazing things to look at here. So what's our next one? Next up, I chose VR and AR models in search. So what this is something that's mobile. So heads up, this is not going to work on your laptop or your desktop computer. This is a mobile thing. So I'm going to demonstrate this with my phone here. But here's the idea. Google is adding into search 3D models of things you search for. Now, not everything has a 3D model, but a lot of times if you search for an animal or, something like, a planet or an element or a molecule, things like that, they're starting to make 3D models so that when you run a search, you can see what that thing would look like in 3D. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to pull my phone up here on the screen. So here's my phone. It's asleep at the moment, but let's wake it up. There we go. And I ran a search for the word tiger. And so, there we go. Got to stay connected there. All right. So I searched for the word tiger, and sure, I'm getting, websites about tigers, but I'm also getting 3D, meet a life-size Bengal tiger up close. Now, that's going to show up for certain things, not everything, but just keep an eye out for it. If you're running a mobile search, look for that 3D. When you click on that, inside of Google search, it will now give you a 3D model. So here's my tiger. He's growling and everything there. And I can look at my tiger, but it gets better. Not only can I look at my tiger, I can say view in your space. When I do that, it's going to ask me to put the phone around, and all of a sudden, oh, there we go. We now have a tiger here. Let's back you up a little bit, buddy. Here, can we turn you around? I don't know if I can turn him around. See, he's up. We're going to try to turn him around. I don't know if he'll let me turn him around or not. Oh, there he goes. He's turning around. And then turn around the other way. I want to see you the other way. Okay, look at me. Keep going. You're doing good. You're doing good. There we go. That's better. Oh, no. There he is. Okay, so now we have a tiger who has joined us in our session here today. How you doing, buddy? Okay, now I can see him a little bit better. He's in the light better now. And so this would allow, oh, my goodness. Sorry, I wasn't pointing at you. This would allow you to now have the students look through your phone and go around and see the T-Rex or the elephant or the planet Jupiter or, an atomic model or all kinds of things, and get up close and personal to it. There's even a record button at the bottom. You can click on this record button down here and record a video of it. The kids can come up and pet the pet the tiger and things like that. So neat way to bring some augmented reality right into your classroom. All right, well, we'll exit back out of the tiger there. Now, if you're curious what you can search for in the agenda, if you go down to the section on this is, I think, page 3. Next to VR and AR models, I've got like 4 different links that list a bunch of the things you can search for that tend to have models. They add new things all the time, but that'll give you at least a little bit of a heads up of the kind of things to look for. Cool stuff. All right. Let's keep on moving. What do we have next? Time lapse. This is such a cool one. So time lapse is a tool from Google that lets you see the last 40 years of satellite imagery for Earth and see it like an animation. So you can see changes happening like they're happening, in a real quick sped up, motion. And you can get to it a couple of ways. You can go to the time-lapse website, or you can just go to Google Earth. It's actually built into Google Earth. That's what I'm going to do for today. I'm going to go to Google Earth. And so here's Google Earth. Hopefully you're familiar with Google Earth. It's a wonderful tool. You can have your students visit any country, explore different biomes, learn all about the world. It's an awesome tool. But let's talk about time lapse. Let's say that I want to take a look at Las Vegas because, a lot has probably happened in the last 40 years in Las Vegas. It's a good one to show off because I think, there's been a lot of growth there over the last 4 decades. So let's say I want to watch Las Vegas grow over the last 40 years. Well, what I can do in Google Earth is go to the bottom left-hand corner where it says layers, give a click on the layers button. And in the layers, if you scroll down, there is a time lapse option. So if I turn this on, it'll start showing me the last 40 years. Let's try it out. Let's turn it on. All right, now it is going to take it a little bit of time to start pulling all this in. So I'm not surprised, and if it doesn't come in fast enough, we can let it load, then we can come back to it. It's a lot to pull that in over the Wi-Fi. So we'll see. But up in the top here, you'll see what's happening is it's counting off the years. And so it's getting up to 2022, I think is where it maxes out at. And then it flips back around to 1984 and starts reloading. Now, if I let it pass through a couple of times, hopefully it's getting better each time. Every pass, we're getting more details. Hopefully, if I let it pass through once or twice more, we should be good. I think we're actually pretty good now. Okay, so once we get up to 2022, you'll notice it'll flip back around to 84, and you'll see how small Vegas gets. So we're coming up to 2022 right here. Now watch, here we go. Boom. That's 1984. Look how small it is. And we can just watch as the city grows and grows and grows and spreads out. Because this is Google Earth, you can switch into 3D view if you prefer. And again, this is amazing. You can watch a glacier recede. You can watch a river change course. You can watch, farmlands grow, all kinds of stuff. And so anything that in the last 40 years, changes that have occurred, it's a really neat way to see that in a way that we normally wouldn't be able to. Now, again, you can do this in Google Earth. There's also a standalone time-lapse website. They're both linked in here in the agenda. When you're done, you can just exit out of time-lapse and it just goes back to your normal screen there. In the agenda, I have this under mapping tools. Here's Google Earth. And then, of course, the standalone time-lapse website here as well. Questions, comments, thoughts on that? Any thoughts on time-lapse? And if not, that's okay. Just seeing if anybody has questions on any of these as we go. All right. Let's keep moving. Next up, what did I pick next? I don't even remember. I picked these last night. I was trying to pick like 20 of my favorites. I don't even know which ones I picked. I'm going to surprise myself. Auto draw. Okay, auto draw. So let's head over to auto draw and talk about what this is. So auto draw, and I'll clear out the version of what I did. I'll kind of redraw that for us. So auto draw is a it's a drawing tool, as you would expect. You know, you can draw with it, but it's got a neat special twist to it. So at first, it may look like a normal drawing tool. There is a pencil up here. You can, blah, 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 draw with a pencil. There is a shape tool, so you can, make shapes. There's a fill can, so you can fill things in. There's a text option, so you can, type, text. So all of that, pretty straightforward. Well, let's clear our page. Let's clear this out. What makes it different is the button up here. This is the auto draw button. So this is an AI powered tool from Google that was trained on doodles. So it can basically guess what a doodle is supposed to be. So here's the idea. If you or your students don't feel artistically gifted, if you're struggling with drawing, you can use auto draw and the AI can help you draw. Here's how it works. So I'm going to pick the auto draw button and I'm going to try to draw something. So let's say I was doing a dog next to a tree. That's what we just saw there before I cleared it out. So let's say I'm drawing a dog. So here's the dog. We'll give him a tail. And this is not going to be a good dog. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be great, but I'm doing my best here with my mouse. So here's his ear, his mouth, eye. Okay, so let's say that's my dog. I know it's not great. Well, at the top of the page, Google is trying to guess what I drew. It's like, is that a moose? Is it a cat? Is it a cat? How about a dog? It's got 4 dogs up here, so it does think it might be a dog. It is. Now watch what happens when I click on one of Google's dogs. My doodle gets replaced. And now I can take this version, put it down here, and then I can start, coloring it in, maybe make it black there, maybe do the fill can, fill it in. Awesome. And then I can go back to auto draw and I can draw something else. So let's say I want the dog next to a tree. Sure. So now I can come here and try to draw in a tree. And now it's going to, again, try to guess what I drew. And across the top, pretty good. Yeah, a bunch of trees. I can now click on a tree. There we go. Maybe move that tree over a little bit there. So we're in good spot there. And again, you get the idea. So now I could come back and start filling that in. Maybe pick a different color here for the trunk, a different brown than we used earlier, a little darker. Perfect. And then keep on going. Now, at any point, you don't have to use auto draw. You can use the regular pen and just freehand draw. You can type with text. You can add shapes. But all of this can be combined together to create an image if you don't feel as comfortable drawing yourself. Now, you can then go to the menu in the top left and you can hit the little download option and just download your final product. So many cool things you could do with this. This would be great for, if a student wrote a story and they wanted to illustrate their story, they could go to auto draw and make a picture for every page of the story and then download those and put them in, or sketch notes or infographics, or just for art, just to create a neat, design as well. So a great tool if you need a little additional assistance. Now this tool shows up other places too. It's developed by Google, but it shows up in Book Creator. If you've ever used Book Creator, totally separate, tool, not from Google, but they partnered with Google. And this also shows up inside of the Book Creator tool as well. Cool stuff. Questions, comments, thoughts on auto draw? All right, good stuff.
Book Creator is a separate
No,
tool.
I didn't ask you. My phone heard me talking about Book Creator. All right, let's keep going. What did I pick next? Art Palette. All right. Well, speaking of art, I guess this is a good segue. Art Palette. This is part of Google Arts and Culture, and that's its own whole thing. Arts and Culture. We could spend so much time on that, but this is one of the things from that. This is a search tool for searching by color rather than by word. So if you head on out to Art Palette, what's going to happen here is it's going to, well, once I get past the little intro here, it's going to pick 5 random colors. Nope, it's only doing 3 this time, but you can do as many as you want. I can add more colors up here. It's picking 3 this time, okay? 3 random colors. And then what it's going to do is it's going to look through Google Arts and Culture to find paintings, sculptures, things that use that color palette. Google Arts and Culture is basically where Google has scanned in every painting ever, every sculpture, also historical artifacts, primary sources, all of anything culturally relevant. And so if I click like surprise me and say pick some new colors, there it's picking a bunch of blues, hit surprise me again. Now we've got all these browns. Every time I hit surprise me, it's picking a new set of colors and finding things from arts and culture that fall within that color palette. What a neat way to be able to explore color and what impact it has on, art and, themes. And of course, you can click on any of these after you find what you were looking for, and that can open this up into arts and culture. And then from there, you can learn more about it. So if I go to that link, there's the painting, and now I can read all about the painting. I can even zoom in on it if I want to get really up close and personal. And usually you can zoom in pretty far and you can see, just amazing details that you wouldn't easily be able to see probably even if you were there in person. You can also pick your own colors. You don't have to go with the colors they did. You can choose your own colors as well. So neat. It's a search engine by color for art. Awesome. All right, let's keep on going. Next up, what did I choose next? Image effects. So this is another AI tool from Google, but this one is about creating images from a text prompt. Now there's a bunch of ways you can do that. There's a lot of AI tools where you type in what you want and it generates, a picture from that. This is similar to many of those, but it's designed to try to encourage people to experiment and to tweak the prompt and see what you get as a result. So let me head on over to image effects. There we go. And once I get here, the way it works is I can type in my own. I can just come up here and I can type in a prompt. Just to save time today, I think I'll click the I'm feeling lucky button and it'll just do a random prompt for me. But don't feel you have to do that. You can type in exactly what it is you want a picture of. But I'm just going to click I'm feeling lucky. And it's doing a seashell-shaped musical instrument. All right. That's fine. We'll see what we get. Now, here's the idea. It's going to generate 4 images that match that prompt. And there we go. Oh, it only did 3. That's fine. That's okay. So it did 3 of them instead. Well, the cool thing is we can just take, if we like one of these, we can just download it. It's, we can use the image any way we want. But the encouragement is to tweak things. And so you can come in here and you can add things like, 35 millimeter film, abstract, handmade, photorealistic, or you can use the drop down and say, instead of a seashell, I want a guitar, a drum, a violin, or I want it to be, formed, crafted, designed. I want it to not be a music. I want it to be a painting, a sculpture, a book. And so I can change the prompt and let it rerun it, so I could say a guitar, shaped is fine. A guitar-shaped book. That would be interesting, And so who knows? Now we can rerun it and we're going to get a whole new thing. So it's all about encouraging experimentation, not just how you can type in a prompt and get out an image, but encouraging you to try new things with it. Now, in addition to that, once these come up, you can also do some spot editing on there. You may have noticed it says edit image. So that's, I guess it is. It's a book that's guitar shaped. They're all kind of interesting. I wasn't really sure what I was going to get there. I wasn't entirely sure. So that one is kind of interesting. It looks like a book in the shape of a guitar. But you can hit edit. And then with editing, you can go in and you can change things. Like, I don't know, like I could say this window here, instead of just being, outside, I could now type in something, and I don't know what might be a good thing to type in. Maybe I could type in something like, maybe, rainstorm. I don't know if it'll show rain. Let me try. I can try. We'll see what happens. I want this to be a rainstorm outside of the window. We'll see if it does it. If not, that's okay. But the idea is you can highlight any area and then give it little updated edits, and it will go through and change that. So I don't know. We'll see. Still working, still thinking. We'll see. We'll see what winds up coming out here. And I think it'll do multiples as well. I don't think it just changes the one image. It typically does like another 4 of them off of that main image there. Uh, if it doesn't go fast, oh no, it did. Oh no, there we go. Not too bad. Okay, so now you can see the water out there. So now I can see. Oh yeah, that's really not all that bad. That does look like it's raining outside and stuff like that. So that's image effects, a neat tool to not just create images, because you're allowed to download any of these. You can download them and use them. They're yours. You can do whatever you want, but to encourage experimentation as well. So thoughts on that AI image generation with image effects? Yeah.
I put it in the
Oh,
comments.
okay. Yes, please. Yes.
It obviously knows my search history because I hit
Oh.
Feel Lucky and it came up with images of things that I researched.
That's interesting. Now, because of that, I will not ask you to show us the picture because we don't want to find out what you've been searching for. But okay, that's interesting that it's able to pull from them. Isn't that wild? That is wild. All right. Well, that's good to know. I had not. When I did the I'm Feeling Lucky, I don't believe I've been doing anything with seashell shaped musical instruments. So I don't think that one does match mine, but that's good to know. That's neat. Awesome. Well, while we're talking about AI generation, there's another one called music effects from Google as well. They've actually got a bunch of them. These are just 2 of them. There's also text effects, which is a text generation one. There's a new one coming out soon called video effects. They've previewed it, but they haven't released it, which makes movies from your text. Music effects, though, is a fun one. Let me pop on over to that one. It's going to look very much the same. Again, you can type in your own prompt here. I'm just going to do I'm Feeling Lucky. And it's going to give a prompt: winter afternoon, cup of tea, smooth vibes, slow tempo. Okay, so that's what it should be creating. And so what it's going to do is make music with AI. Once that gets generated, we should, there we go. There it is. All right. So we've got our, we've got our smooth vibes here. It does 2 typically. Here's the second one. Okay, nice as well. I dig it. That's good. Now, if you want, that's only 30 seconds. You can download that, or you can go into your settings and you can make it longer if you want it to be longer. Or again, you can go over here and experiment. This is designed to encourage experimentation. So instead of winter afternoon, spring, summer, fall, or morning, evening, night, or cup of mulled wine. Instead of smooth vibes, maybe we want funky, or instead of a slow tempo, maybe we want to speed up the tempo, so maybe it's fall, maybe it's evening, maybe we've got some mulled wine, maybe we've got it funky, sure, pop up the tempo a little bit, from, I guess halfway along the slow. And then yeah, let's regenerate. And now we're gonna see what that. So again, that's the idea, is to show you the power of AI and encourage you to experiment and try. And again, you can still download what it creates. You're free to use the music any way that you want to as well. But we'll give it a moment and see what. Oh, there we go. All right. That little funk, little fall evening, got some mulled wine. All right, nice. There's also DJ mode. DJ mode's a little different. With that, it doesn't just do a 30-second clip. It will play for like 2 hours, and it just keeps generating music, and you can adjust your sliders, and it just basically plays background music the whole time. Questions, comments, thoughts on music effects or image effects, either one of those? So good question. If you didn't hear the question, is it copywritten? So no, it's not. And that's true about all AI generated content. At the moment, the courts have ruled that AI is not a human and therefore cannot own copyright. So anything that AI makes, whether it's through Google or ChatGPT or Canva, any of the tools out there, if it makes text, Images, music, video, yes, you're allowed to use it any way you want. It is yours to do with as you please, and that's totally fine. Yeah. Now, you might, up to you, you might want to throw in a little citation, like, oh, this is generated from, ChatGPT or something like that. Some folks are doing that, like on blog posts or on things like that, little citation at the bottom of where you got an image for it or something. I've done that. Like, I think recently, one of my blog posts that I did, I was talking about using AI to have a debate. It was a really fun activity where the students take one side of the debate, the AI takes the other, and you have a debate in class on a topic. And so this blog post covers that. Well, I used AI to create some images for it. So I just said image credit ChatGPT, and then I did a bunch of examples of things you could have debates on. And so, like, are cats better than dogs? So I had it, image. I had ideogram make that particular image. So that may be a good idea to give credit, but even that's not required, but might be something to consider doing. So, all right, good stuff. Well, let's keep going. We got more. We got more to explore. So what's up next here? Next up, interview warm-up. Okay, so interview warm-up is a tool from Google that is designed to help people prepare for a job interview. But more broadly, it's to help practice public speaking. It's to practice answering questions orally. So you can use this, even if you're not trying to get a job. I mean, this could be great for, students to practice just speaking and answering a question. How does it work? Okay, here's the idea. So if I head on over to interview warm-up, what's going to happen is, give it a moment to load up here. Here it comes. Still working. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to click on Start Practicing. And it's going to ask me, what do I want to get a job in? Now, they've got some samples. I'm just going to go with general because, I'm not trying to, actually get a job there. So I'll just say general. And then what it's going to do is ask me 5 interview questions. And so I'm going to click on Start, give it permission to use my mic. And,
Hi, let's practice an interview.
all right.
Please tell me why you would be a good fit for this role.
So my job now is to hit this and answer. And so here we're going to just throw in some sort of a response. I don't know. We'll try something here. I think I would be a good fit for this role because I have a lot of experience in this area and I am very open to change. And so I can adapt to whatever situation I am in.
Thank you.
So what it's going to do now is it's going to take what I said and transcribe it. Now, if I want to see my answer, there's my answer there. And if I go through all of these questions at the end of 5 questions, it's going to give me detailed feedback on, do I use certain words all the time? Do I do too many ums and uhs? Are there things I should be saying that I'm leaving out? So a neat way to get used to, answering questions, but also getting feedback on the answers that we give. So neat tool. Doesn't have to be used for an actual interview. I think it does translate over well to any kind of speaking situation as well. All right, let's keep going. Next up, Semantris. This is fun. So Semantris is a puzzle game that's more vocabulary oriented. So let me just show you how it works. Basically, it's like Tetris. You get these blocks that fall down and you don't want them to reach the top. That's the thing we're trying to avoid. But what we want to do is we want to tell it which blocks to get rid of. But here's the trick. We're not allowed to use any of the words on the screen. We have to use similar words, synonyms, things like that. So if I wanted to get rid of the word school, I couldn't put that in. I might put in something like college. Maybe that would work. So if I type in college, yeah, it figured out I wanted school. That goes away and new words fall down. As the game goes on, the words get more and more similar. So it becomes more of a challenge. So it's all about, can the students come up with synonyms, similar words, things like that to identify what they want to get rid of while playing the game. So fun game. That is Semantris. Yeah. Speaking of games, Game Snacks, let's mention that real quick. Game Snacks is a collection of, I would say, school-friendly games. What I mean by that is a lot of these times we have all these fun games online, these collections, it's just they're riddled with ads and pop-ups and all kinds of stuff. This is a site from Google that is just honestly about 100 and some or plus, I don't know, there's probably more than that, just casual games, and that's it. There's no ads. It's just games. So if you're looking for a site that maybe you want to add to an approved list and say, okay, if you need, some wind down time, you can play anything on Game Snacks. That might be one to consider. My gosh, they've added so many new games. There are a lot here. So that's I think a neat option. Next up, odd one out. This is another neat AI tool. For this one, what we're doing is we're trying to see if we can spot an AI generated image. So the way it works is it's going to give us a category and it's going to show us 4 pictures. One of them is AI generated. The other 3 are from Google Arts and Culture. And our job is to pick which one is AI generated. Let's see what happens. Okay. So our category, what are we going to get here? We're getting a balcony. Which balcony is AI generated? I think maybe this one. Good, I got it. Okay. Now, I'm usually not very good at this. Now, I can click on the others, and it'll take me out to Google Arts and Culture, and I can learn about those. Let's try the next round. We got 4 misses, and then the game ends. Which castle is AI generated? I'm going to say maybe this one. No, I was wrong. This one? Oh my, I'm not doing good. Oh, got it. Okay. And so if nothing else, this can be a neat way to show students the difficulty of identifying what is AI and what is not. Speaking of AI images, another fun one is called Say What You See. For this one, what happens is you are given an image and your job is to create a prompt that would generate as close as possible the same image. So you're seeing how well can you come up with a prompt to make an image. So again, this could be really good to teach the idea of prompting. Unfortunately, it's taking a while to load. We may not be able to see this one in time. If so, that's okay. Yeah, it still says that it's trying to load there. I'm not sure why it's dragging at the moment. So if it doesn't show up fast enough, here's what it looks like. It gives you a picture. You type in your prompt, and then it creates an image from your prompt, and then it gives you a percentage score on how close your image matches the original. So you're trying to see who can get the highest score. What prompt can you come up with that best describes that image? Well, folks, we're down to our last couple of minutes, so I'm just going to mention a few more that I had included. Applied Digital Skills was one that I added on the list as well. This is a wonderful website. If you haven't had a chance to explore this before, Applied Digital Skills is a collection of over 200 pre-made learning activities that you can use, your students can use, and it basically teaches you how to do technology topics like how to make a presentation, how to organize your Google Drive, how to write a resume, how to make a poster, how to make a quiz, all of these things, life and technology skills. And for each one of these, the beauty of it is it's already created for you. You simply go into the activity, and they've got pre-made videos that are like 5 minutes long each, and they'll maybe have like 5 or 6 videos, and it walks you step by step by step through the process. And by the time it's done, you then have that project completed. So Applied Digital Skills, completely free, completely ready to go. All these videos teaching all these different topics. Well, folks, I think there's so many more things I would like to say, but we actually ran out of time. So let's do this. Is there something you were hoping to see, a question, a comment, something we did not get to that you were hoping we would talk about of those tools? Questions, comments before we start to wrap this up? So I want to give you time to get to your next session, but questions, comments? All right, so as we do start to wrap up, the other 65, 70 tools we didn't get to, they're all at bit.ly/Kurtz-Hipster. In addition to that full list of tools, the slideshow is also linked in at the top, highlighted in green. If you prefer going through the slideshow, you can do that. And as you go through, you'll get to all of the stuff, even the things we didn't get to. So here's all the search tools and all of the map tools, creative tools. You get it. There's loads and loads here. Music tools, and we've got communication, games, miscellaneous. So there's a lot more in there, but I want to say thank you so much for letting me share a few of my favorites from the list and encourage you to explore those from here on. All right. So thanks so much, everybody, and have a wonderful rest of your day. And for all my other resources, check out my blog at controlaltachieve.com. And to connect with me, go to bit.ly/CAA-connect, where you'll find all of my social media links, email, newsletter, and more.